Hi, I'm Alex Radcliffe.
Hi, I'm Rena.
And today we are reviewing and playing Patient Zero, a game designed by Cedric Martinez and coming to Kickstarter by Helvetique shortly. Hopefully I said both those names or pronunciations correctly. I never really know. This will be coming to Kickstarter April 20th. There'll be a link in the description thingamajiggy down below. Timestamps down below as always in case you want to skip to any particular relevant section. But the basic idea of this game is it is a game where you have two teams facing off one another in an attempt to basically, diagnose, or what's the word? There's a word for it when you
Sequence?
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you for being here, sweetie.
You're welcome.
So when you try to, two different teams are trying to sequence a disease, and they're both trying to race to get there first. Both teams are ultimately succeeding. If you cure a disease, after all, it's not a bad thing no matter who gets there first. But that is the difference between a one-shot vaccine and a two-shot vaccine, after all. It's just, that's something like that. Anyways, so that's the game. So in this case, what we're doing now, let's go through a few steps. So again, timestamps down below for any relevant part. In this case, the way we're playing the game right now is we're playing it sort of solo mode. Now, what I mean by that is I believe the game is going to come with an app at some point. I believe. I'm not certain about that. I have to double check. I think I saw that somewhere. But in the meantime, the way we've been playing it is with a moderator driving the scenario, basically. And so in this case, because it's just the two of us here, she's the moderator and I'm the solo player in this case.
Correct.
And so basically, I'm going to be trying to sequence the disease. The way that works is you're going to have 3 disease cards. You can show some of the cards. I won't look to any of them. We'll just go ahead and show them.
I just draw my cards?
No, don't draw them yet. But here, let me show. So we're going to have these cards over here, which are just going to be different sequences, different numbers, all of which are visible on our personal player board over here, going from 1 to 25. Now, Rena is going to draw 3 of those cards, look at them, and memorize, or, well, you can reference them at any point.
Them aside.
Yeah, you can put them aside. She'll have to know which 3 genomes, or whatever you want to call it, are the disease. And so you can go ahead and do that. And I'm going to have you go ahead, once you look at them.
Where I pull it from?
No, wherever you want. Pull them from wherever you want. And I'm going to be utilizing a bunch of laboratory tools in order to try to sequence the disease, in order to try to figure out what those 3 are. Now, so go ahead and show the top cam. I'm going to look away. Okay. And by the way, timestamps down below in case you want to skip to, not seeing it, any of that.
There we go. We have 1. Well, it's actually the number 1, but 1 second.
Did you say it's the number 1?
No.
Because that would be...
I know. There we go. Sometimes getting them to focus is a little bit of a chore there. There we go. Cool.
And so now we have the 3 sequences in case you wanted to see, and hopefully you skipped to the timestamp section in case you didn't want to see. And so, you got those off to the side? And I'm going to start by basically choosing my tools. So, I'm going to start with, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and start with these over here. I'm going to go ahead and use this one over here. This is going to be Sampley. It's a decent starting sequence over there. Now, so Sampley is going to involve her drawing 3 cards from my deck. Or I'll draw 3 cards from my deck, and then you will choose which side to put them on. Effectively, all of these tools are going to give us different ways we can try to get to a sequence. Now, so when we played this earlier, for instance, you faced off against Ricky, actually.
Yep.
And in that case over there, when you faced off against Ricky, I believe you got it done in like roughly 8 or 9 rounds, and you beat Ricky by 1 round.
Ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Negative.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and start scratching these off over here. So that's number 8. So it's definitely, what she's doing over here is she's going to choose whether to put them on this side or this side, depending on if any of these 5 show up in the sequence. So I'm going to go ahead and scratch off 8. Let's do that. And we're going to do 2 and 14. Is that 14? That's 14. Okay, and we have 21. So, whoa, I got lucky. All of those are going to be completely off the grid. And 20. So far I know that these are not relevant. And we're going to do that the same for over here. 21 again. 25 is not relevant, 18 is not relevant, 2 is not relevant, which we already knew, and 7 is not relevant. Okay, we're just slowly eliminating. 20, 16, 2, 4, and 13. Okay, so we have a bunch of things crossed off. We're bound to, a bunch left. And I am going to try to go ahead and use another tool. So, let's see what we got over here. I think I really need to get, I think I'm going to go ahead and use, you know what, actually? I need more samples out. More samples out.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and, although...
Do Sampley again?
No, I'm actually going to go ahead and choose Microscopo. So Microscope is going to involve me being able to specifically choose. I only get 2 cards this time, but I can choose. And by the way, all these cards are one-time use. So different tools have different varieties. There's 3 Sampleys, there's 2 Microscopes, or 3 Microscopes. And I'm going to go ahead and choose specific ones over here that hopefully give me a little bit more insight into what's going on.
1 minute.
We have 5, 9, okay, I'm looking for 5, 9, 10. We have 1, 15, 17. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you this one.
Okay.
And we're going to go ahead. Yep, I'm going to give you one more card. Yeah, you officially have 1 minute. Each team has 1 minute when they do this to go ahead and find what they want. This looks like a good one. I'm going to go ahead and give you this one. Okay, those are 2 cards. Now, in this case, what I was doing is I'm trying to find cards that specifically don't have a degree of overlap with the ones already. Whoa, really?
Yep.
Jeez, okay. 4, we're going to cross off 18, we're going to cross off 17, we're going to cross off 1, and we're going to cross off 15. So we got a few more. Wow! Okay, this is going to be like the fastest game ever. So 19 is crossed off, 6 is crossed off, 22 is crossed off, 3 is crossed off, and 13 is crossed off. Jeez. Okay, so currently we have 5, 10, 9, 11, 12, 23, and 24. Now keep in mind when you're playing this in teams, you're going to have 2 different teams. Wow, we're down to 7 already?
Yeah, but what's interesting is because you have all these cards that are negative, you can't even...
Correct. I can't use the analyzer.
Which it was a really helpful tool.
Yeah, the analyzer is a tool where some of these cards, let's pretend a few of these have been over here. The analyzer means I get to tell her, show me exactly how many of each. So maybe there was 1 on this card, 2 on this card, and 3 on that card. So it gives you a lot more information. In this case, I have an interesting degree of information as it is. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the scan pad. Now, the scan pad is going to be which symbol over there? The scan pad is that one. I got it.
I know. Okay. I'm trying to remember exactly what it does.
I'm trying to find the symbol. Here we go. I'm using my scan pad tool.
Cool.
And I need to figure out what of these. We're down to 7. I kind of want to figure out what's going on here. And let's go ahead and put it like so.
I just don't remember. It's 6. Okay. It's not 9. Okay.
Yep. So you're supposed to tell me how many. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to tell me how many of the thingies show up in the scan pad.
How many of the
genomes?
So only 1.
Only 1 genome shows up. So we're going to mark off first use of the scan pad has 1 genome. We know it's either 12.
You only get 1 use of the scan pad.
You only get 1 use of the scan pad?
Yes.
Oh, scan pad, only 1 per deck. So I'm going to draw the scan pad so I remember where it went, like so. And then we're going to move that off the board. And we're down to 3 tools. I feel like I'm going to use, what's it called? No, I need to.
It's annoying if you use the deducto, like you already know so many that aren't, it may not be very helpful to you.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use min-max. Min-max is going to be which one? It is which one? Intervallo. Intervallo is the card.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and find that one.
I used that tool.
You didn't use that one.
So what do I do again?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say min. Okay, now that means is you're going to mark with your little pen which row has the lowest sequence that we have. Okay, so we know 5 is going to be in the thing. So the min-max, you choose min or max, and it chooses whether to choose the lowest row or the highest row that a genome appears, which means we know for sure that 5 is in the picture, so to speak. So what I think I want to do next, down to 5 cubes, 5. We know 5. We know 1's in here. We don't know if these are here. I'm going to go ahead and use the centrifugal thingy-majiggy. No,
centrifuge.
Centrifuge wouldn't. It could tell me too much information if it goes over here. Ah, geez. Just want to go for it, maybe. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and try I'm trying the antidote. So.
Okay.
The antidote. You have 2 antidotes, which means you only have 2 opportunities to try to figure out what it is to begin with in whatsoever. So the antidote, I'm going to go ahead and write down. Not write down. I'm going to show which ones I think it is. We have 1 from here. We have 1 from here. So I know the 5's included automatically. The question is, do I want to... Yeah, I'll go for the 5. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the 5. Then I'm going to go ahead and choose the 12. So just a little arrow to the 12, arrow to the 5. And then from there, I'm going to choose the 23.
Okay.
That is my guess. 5, 12, 23.
I forgot what I'm supposed to do.
You're supposed to tell me how many of them are correct.
2.
2 of them are correct. So we know either 12 or 23 is correct. And we've used our antidote. So here's where it gets a little annoying because I need to try to figure out. Let's go ahead and we'll use one of these again. So I'm going to use this one.
The microscope or the
microscope? The microscope. So we're using the microscope, at which point I'm trying to find 5, 12. I'm trying to find 11, 10, and 24 on a single card. 11, 10, and 24. Let's see if we can find them. We have 10 and 24. I'm going to choose that one.
Okay.
And then we have 11 and 23. Let's see if we can find 23 and 11. 23. I'm going to go ahead and do this one. So I'm actually just going to do this one over here. Here we go.
Is it
23, 2. Yep, I'm choosing those 2.
Okay.
Let's see if we can find out over here.
Yeah, positive.
Positive.
Yeah.
Okay. 23 is in the mix.
And positive.
And positive. Okay. Did I put 23 on both? That was silly of me. That was very silly of me. So we know 23 is in the mix. Do we actually know that for sure? Because we have 20 Yeah, I think we know for sure 2 is out, 22 is out, and then we have 6 and 23. So 23 is in the mix, 5 is in the mix, and that means we know 12 is not in the mix, and 9 is in the mix. I'm going to go ahead, use my second antidote, and guess 5, 9, 23.
Nice job.
Ding, 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 ding. And that is going to be, let me go ahead and find my second antidote. And again, you only have 2 antidote attempts to actually make. How many cards is that?
7, not bad.
7 cards. So, 7 cards is going to be, in the solo mode, it's going to be excellent lab technician, but really 5 tool cards is the way to go. You're going to 9, 7, 8, 6, or 5 is the way to go. And so that is going to be the solo mode of Patient Zero. Basically a deduction puzzle where you try to figure out in sequence what the disease is, and that is, well, playing it solo. Cool. So, let's go through this, and let's go through the review part of this thing, because you have not played it solo. I played it solo. You played it in teams. Now, I think teams is going to be the better experience. It's not that solo is a bad experience, not in the slightest. Solo is still a fun little logical deduction, but the race element, I think, specifically does elevate this game. So let's actually go to that part of the review. So, Rena.
Yes.
What do you like about this game?
It's a logic puzzle.
It's a logic puzzle.
That is a good starting point. I like logic puzzles.
That is a good starting point.
This is a puzzle. I like this kinds of puzzly, assorted kind of games. I didn't feel a great amount of tension when I played the team. It was nice because there is a card called Hacks that allows you to play the opposing team's tool. Yeah. And that was very helpful because I needed to do the centrifuge show one again. Yeah, and that helped me pick out quite a few. You didn't get to see the
centrifuge, but centrifuge basically you orient this amongst 4 different things and then pick out from, you mark whether the centrifuge is pointing to any of these genomes or whatnot.
Yeah, you could also use this to go like that.
Yep. But yeah. So. Anything else you like?
I just liked the gameplay. I liked the different things that I could do. I liked the variability that I had with the tools that I had. I didn't reach a point where I was just like, well, there's nothing that I can do. There was so many different tools that I had that would allow me to play the game. It didn't feel stressful. It just felt really, really fun. I enjoyed it.
Cool. For myself, what I liked is, well, first of all, like you said already, logic puzzle. Anything to do with logic puzzles, I'm definitely one of those people who enjoys, printing out those sheets of, well, Harry is taller than Sally, and Sally is shorter than the brother of Harry's older cousin who likes milk. The people who like milk are shorter than the people who are Harry's brother. I love going through those sequences and cross-checking off who's what and figuring that out. So, in general, I do like logic puzzles to begin with. Yes. This very much is that. I like the variety of tools, and the order of the tools does matter, I think, to a certain extent. Now, keep in mind, we have limited plays under our belt, but to a certain extent, I think Sampley or the sample option is like the necessary first step.
Yeah, but I'm very curious to try one time do the deducto.
Deducto first? So deducto lets you draw 5 cards from the genome deck, and keep in mind the 3 that are the actual thing are already taken. So you're getting guaranteed 5 things that are guaranteed not to be whatever.
I'm curious to try that off the bat and just do a deducto card. And
start with deducto, then go to scan pad. There's a lot of interesting ways to do it. I think the reason I think Sampley is almost inherently first is unless you're never going to go Sampley, then I think
it's so much information. It's 3 cards and there's 5, germy molecules. That's 15 bits of information.
And you kind of have to do it at some point, so you may as well do it earlier rather than later. But overall, I like the fact that different orders of how you play different things out. You can get information from every one of these tools. And I'm curious. I don't know if this is going to be the final. Keep in mind, this is a Kickstarter. I don't know if this is going to be a Kickstarter with stretch goals or who knows what. I don't know what extra things are added. Personally, for myself, I hope more. I like these different ways of things mixing together so you can figure out. Min-max. You didn't do min-max in any of the games.
I did not do min-max in either of in the game that we played because the first set of Sampley that I got, I crossed out the entire top row and I crossed out the entire fourth row. So I felt that the min-max
could be helpful.
It could have, but I just didn't feel like it would give me enough information, and I felt like the other ones were like the analyzer was much more helpful to me than the min-max ever would have been. Yeah.
So overall, like I said, I like the logic puzzle, I like the deduction, the various tools. I like the graphic design, sort of. Meaning, I like the color scheme and the way they have it played out. I don't know what the final version is as a prototype, by the way. So anything you see here is subject to change, from rules to components to all that. This game comes with these little plastic bags for each team, whatever it is. I don't know if those are going to be in the final thing. I wouldn't count on it, but the whole blue-red atmosphere thing kind of works. Past that, what do you not like?
What do I not like? So again, this is a prototype, so I don't know if things are going to change. I didn't like the font of the numbers. I felt it was very, very hard to read, and I had to keep going back to check.
And that happened even in this game. I was trying to figure out, I was like, why is that not the 11? It's like, because that's the 17.
Exactly. So I didn't particularly like the font. Again, this is something that could also change. I just didn't feel like there was so much of a point of just having the picture where I had to
You want the name as well.
I like the name as well. I just felt like that would just be a little bit more helpful, so I'm not necessarily, because I remember exactly what deductive goes, and I was like, what is that picture of? Because that to me also could be looking like an antidote. To me, I would like to have the word on there. Also, otherwise, I just really enjoyed. I find that there's quite a lot of variability in the game. I just had fun.
So my one concern is, first of all, I agree with everything you said in terms of the graphic issues that are potentially make the game a little less accessible. For me, the biggest thing I would worry about or wonder about is whether this game holds up. I know we don't agree on this one necessarily, but whether the game holds up to, 10, 15, 20 plays. It's the kind of thing that I really enjoy the logic puzzle, but just like I do with actual logic puzzles, I tend to print them out, go through them for a few days, and then come back a year and a half later when I feel in the mood again. Logic puzzles generally go through the exact same structure. That doesn't really mix it up. Now, the game does have some different modes, some of the things we haven't even played with. So, for example, you can, one of the modes is that each player starts by removing 6 random lab tools from the deck. They keep both antidotes. You ensure those are both there. Right. But that means that I might walk into the game only having 1 sample or only having, 2 whatever it is. So it does give you a degree of forcing you to adapt to different strategies. That said, I kind of want to see more from that. I want to see a ton more stuff. Tons of relative word. I want to see more things that potentially mix up the experience. Things that might be, I don't even know how you would do it, but anything that makes the game variable. Because right now, while I really enjoy the logic puzzle, while I really enjoy getting a few, cards or whatever that dictate what the genome is, and having 2 teams face off against one another, I want to ensure that it's fresh every single time I come back to it. All right, as far as what can you see others not liking, anything in that category?
That's a good question.
So for me, I'll start off. Ultimately, this is a logic game. This is a puzzle. If that's not what you're looking for, this is not going to be a game for you. It's just offhand. The whole game is a deduction puzzle. If you're like, well, why is that fun? Then don't get this game. It won't be fun. Past that, I don't know if there's anything I can think of
not really.
that wouldn't already be covered under the... I guess... No, you know what? Here's one thing. Luck. Luck can be a factor.
That is one. I did pull, when I played, I pulled really, really good cards.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat.
Yeah, you can definitely have one player who draws cards randomly that are more helpful, or one player that draws cards randomly that are less helpful. One player might choose min-max because it's a good strategic move, and just the nature of the way the genomes play out, it won't actually give you information. Correct. Versus another player might throw down Centrifugo and actually get a lot more information. So if you mind the fact that your strategic choices... it can be befuddled by just the luck of what the genomes were and whether that information is helpful, then that might bother you. For myself, I don't particularly care. I just like playing with the tools and trying to get to a win before other people. So that's basically going to be it. Final thoughts and score.
I really like it. I would happily play this again. Easily, apparently, could play it with the children.
Yeah. You played with Ricky. That's very impressive.
I did. But I really like this kind. She also really likes logic puzzles a lot. So, but this is something that I would definitely
It sounds like a great
pull out.
classroom experience for you.
Yeah.
You should do that.
I should.
Anyways, you can divide the classroom into teams. That's what we're supposed to do. Yeah, she's a teacher, in case you didn't know. But overall, so for myself, final thoughts and score for myself are going to be, like I said, everything ready. It's a solid game, a great logic puzzle, definitely a twist. Doesn't feel it's not going to be as much of a game as... I don't know, tactical Euro games or Ameritrash or who knows what. It is a different category of game. It can be kind of... Yeah, it's a puzzle game. It's a puzzle game. No different than games like Dimension, like Ubongo, like who knows what. Different just things that mix up the experience on the table. And to that end, I have a harder time rating it. Instinctively, I call it a 4 to 5. Instinctively, it's not an amazing game, but I really enjoy my time with Patient Zero so far. But also, it's in a weird state because I do find puzzle games, similar to Block and Key, which you and I just looked at. Anything that's a little more puzzly in nature, that's going to be the 3D one with the tokens on top.
Oh, you mean the one you didn't order?
The one I did order now. But anything that's more puzzly based, I do find the shelf life in them does end up being a little bit less long term, just because they are a little more gimmicky by nature. But at least for right now, at least for right now, it's a 4 to 5. I am curious how it holds up long term in my collection. For yourself, you score?
I actually was going to say it was a 3, because to me, I really like it, and it's a puzzle game. It's a roll and write. It's not really a roll and write, but it's a writing game, and it's something that I really like. But for me, it's just a solid game. It's still not one of my favorites, but I really, really enjoyed it.
Very good. And so that's going to be Patient Zero. Again, link down below. This will be on Kickstarter April 20th, at least as of now. And until next time, I'm Alex.
I'm Rena.
And have a good one.